Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to show you guys the books that I'm going to be reading for 2025. These are the 25 books for 2025 that I really want to get to. I have my little notebook here with them. I had to make sure I had them all pulled. This is the big stack behind me. You can obviously see some of them. Can't let you see all of them. I'm gonna have to like figure out how to push them out of the frame maybe. Okay, so I have so many books on my list that I want to read, and it is such a struggle to choose like 25 out of all the books that I own. But these are books that I've, one, probably had on my shelf for a very long time that I need to read. Two are very, very like high on my to read list. I was trying to figure out how to word that in a different way, but I couldn't figure it out. So I'm excited to show you guys what I have. Now, the books that I have in this pile are only physical books that I own. I did not include any new releases. I didn't include any like books that I plan on buying, even if they're not a new release. Like, I didn't include any of that. All of these are books that I physically own and that I've had on my TBR, my physical TBR, for a hot minute, okay? Some of them I just got recently for like Christmas or something, but most of them I've had for a while. So I guess we're gonna start with the one that I'm the most excited to get to. And this is one of my newest books. It's Artificial Wisdom by Thomas R. Weaver. This is like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a near future kind of like sci-fi thriller. And it's basically about how there's a human running for a political office and against an AI. And I am so intrigued to read this. I've heard really good things about it, and I just am interested to see the direction that the author took on this, because I feel like AI can go so many ways. It can be bad, it can be good, but I'm interested to see what happens. So I'm excited about this one. I really want to read this like maybe in March. It probably won't be a February read for me, but also look how beautiful the cover is. Isn't this amazing? The next one we have is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I have read every single one of Ali Hazelwood's books except this one, which is kind of surprising because I think this is going to be one of my favorites. I really like Ali Hazelwood's writing. She is an auto-buy author for me, but her last book that she wrote, what was it called? Not in Love, I think. I did not love that book. I think I gave it like 2.5 stars. It was not for me. I loved Bride. I loved Chuck and Meg. I love Theoretically, Love on the Brain. What else does she have? Is that all? I think so. But I did not love Not in Love. So I'm actually not going to be purchasing Deep End because it just doesn't seem like a book that I'm interested in reading. I really could care less about like sports romances. I don't read sport romance books. So anyways, but I do want to get to this because I think I'm going to love this. All right, the next book I have is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. This book, actually my boyfriend picked out for me when we went to Barnes & Noble. I said, I just want you to pick out a book for me, a random fantasy book, and he chose this one. This is like a twist on an Aladdin retelling, but I think we're following a girl who's a criminal that hunts and sells illegal magic, which I just think this sounds so fun. And it's set in a desert, which I love. This is supposed to be a trilogy. I just found out though the second book is coming out this year, and it took her 2.5 years to get the second book published. So I mean, how long is it going to take for the third book? So I'm actually hoping to read this soon so that I can pre-order the second book, because I'm excited to read it, because I think I'm going to really enjoy this series. I think it's going to be fun. The next book I have two books by Emily Henry. We have Happy Place and Funny Story. This is the large print version. I ordered it off Amazon. Did not even realize that I did that. These are the only two Emily Henry books that I have left to read. I really like Emily Henry's writing. People We Meet on Vacation was okay, but Book Lovers and Beach Read I really loved. They're not 5-star reads for me. I need to be a little bit better about not critiquing romance books so hard, because I always compare them to like the adventure like the adventure feeling that I get from like a fantasy book, and I feel like that's not fair because that's not the genre that this is. But I'm excited to read these two. I really actually don't know what either one of these are about. I generally just go into I've gotten Allie Hazelwood on my mind. I generally go into Emily Henry's books blind because I don't really want to know what they're about. I feel like they're romance books and I don't need to know. So both of those are on my list. We also have a Stephen King book on my list, Fairy Tale. I have had this book on my shelf for so long. It was the first Stephen King book that I bought. I also have Billy Summers and 11/22/63 on here. Those two books I would love to get to, but I want to get to this one first because I've had it the longest. So, I've never read anything by Stephen King. I don't know that I will read very much from him because I don't like horror, but I am excited to read these couple books that really aren't horror books. So, and I really don't know what Fairy Tale is. I think it's about somebody who has like a magical portal in their shed that I'm assuming takes them to like some type of magical world. I have no idea. Obviously a fairy tale. Next we have Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I have read a couple books by V.E. Schwab and I really, really like them. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is beautiful. It is such a good book. It's been a while since I've read that. Almost could reread that book. It's just beautifully written. I've read City of Ghosts. I've read The Savage Song, I can't remember. But I have Gallant, which I have not read yet, and then I have Vicious. I wanted to read Vicious because it's a duology, and I love duologies. I find them so much easier to read. I really don't know what this is about actually at all. I'm just excited to get into it and see what it's about. But honestly, I don't know that I've even heard what Vicious is about. The next book we have is a chonker. It's The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is huge. Look at that sucker. I have just heard amazing things about this. It has dragons in it. I want to read it. I looked at this book at Walmart forever and I finally purchased it because I was like, I just need this book. I need this book. I need it to motivate me to read it. So I want to get to this year. I'm excited. I hope that it's worth it because there's so many pages. I hope it's worth the payoff in the end. But I've heard a lot of people love it. The next one we have is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I really need to read this. I have just not taken the time and just pulled it off my shelf to read it. I have to be kind of in a mood to read a kind of like thriller book. They're not my favorite. Even though when I do read them, I really enjoy them. I just don't have, I have to be in the mood. I'm a mood reader. Thrillers don't always get me excited to read until I'm actually reading it. So, but I've heard this is amazing, and I also have another book by Blake Crouch, so I really want to get to this one first and then read the other one. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure what this book is about, but I think I just need to go into this one blind as well. I try to go into books blind to a certain extent because I think that works the best for me. The next book we have is The Hawthorne Legacy. This is the second book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. I read book 1 like 2 years ago. I have just not read the rest of the trilogy. I really would like to finish it. It's not that I wouldn't. That's why I bought the second one, to try to get myself to read it. But I think I've had this book for like a year. I mean, I need to get to it. Because I want to read her other series, The Naturals. I'm really interested to read that. But I really don't want to start that until I finish this. So I just need to finish it. The next book we have is Lovely War by Julie Berry. I started this book, as you can see, and I have not gotten very far. I just was not in the mood for it, so I decided to put it down, and I just decided I would wait until I'm in the mood. This, I think, is going to be a really interesting read. It has, let's see, it's set during World War I and II, and it says the gods held the fates and the hearts of 4 mortals in their hands. And basically, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, Aphrodite is on trial. I'm pretty sure. I don't really remember much, but I've just heard a lot of people love this book, and it's beautiful, so I'm really excited to get to it at some point. Then we have Ellen Hildebrand. I always want to call her Erin, but it's Ellen Hildebrand, The Hotel Nantucket. I've never read a book by her before, and this is the book that I have been wanting to read for a very long time by her. I have since bought 2 other books by her. I don't know how many more books I really need to add to my collection that are in this Nantucket series. I just kind of bought the couple that I was the most interested in, and this is the one that I am the most interested in. So I'm excited to read this. I think it'll be a fun time. Let's see what else we got. We have a Sarah Adams book, Practice Makes Perfect. This is the first book, and like I think is it like the books are all connected in the series, but you probably could read them individually. I don't know. But this is the first one, and I think she owns like a flower shop or something. Is that right? Yeah, she runs a local flower shop in Rome, Kentucky. The reason I wanted to read this was the second book, When in Rome, is the one I wanted to read, but I felt like I should read the first one first. And it's a short little like romance, rom-com. I feel like I should be able to get through this quickly, and I'm excited to see if I enjoy Sarah Adams' writing. The next book we have, I'm going through a couple of the rest of these. There's 2 more romance books left, and then we'll move on from romance. Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I've read a couple books by them, and I love them. I think they're so good. This book, though, I'm not exactly sure what it's about. I've just heard that people recommend it if you want like a nice, cozy, heartwarming story. I think this is kind of emotional, though. I'm assuming people cry in it. But I've just had this on my list to read forever. I've owned this book for a very long time, and I love the cover. I think it's so cute. And then the last romance book I have on my list is The Bodyguard. I've actually read this in January, so I've already read it, which is awesome to mark it off my list, by Catherine Center. I really like Catherine Center's book. This is the second one I've read, and I will read Hello Strangers and her new book coming out because they're fun. And this book was a really fun take on a rom-com. So if you want something a little different, I recommend this. This was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Okay, so now we're kind of down to, my knee is falling asleep, so let me just readjust here. Now we're down to mostly fantasy, but there's a couple that aren't fantasy. I'll talk about those really quick. The first one we have is by Kristen Hanna, The Woman. I have a couple Kristen Hanna books. I've only read The Four Winds by her, and you know, crazy enough, I don't always love historical fiction. I'm getting into it more. I'm starting to, because I do appreciate it. And it just takes a good writer for me to get into it. Kristen Hanna does a fantastic job getting me into history. The Four Winds obviously is about the Dust Bowl. I literally did not think that would be anything I was interested in, and that book was heart-wrenching. Heart-wrenching. So I can't imagine how sad her other books are. I have heard The Woman's great. The Nightingale would be on my list before this, but I don't physically own The Nightingale, so that's why The Woman is on my list. I own this one, and I own, I think, 1 or 2 other Kristen Hanna books. But this is the one that I would love to get to this year sometime very soon. So I think this is set in Vietnam, during the Vietnam War. So I'm excited about that. The next book we have is a Brandon Sanderson book. I love me some Brandon Sanderson, okay? I love it. I'm working my way through his books slowly but surely. I'm very intimidated by his Mistborn series. I'm very intimidated by his Way of Kings series, but I will get there. I'm just kind of making my way through the other books first. I read Skyward 2 years ago, I think. Loved it. I thought it was so much fun, like a fun sci-fi. So this is the second book. I think there's 4 books out total in the series, so I am excited to continue on with this story. I'm excited to see where it goes. I enjoyed Skyward way more than I thought I would. So we also have A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. I have started this. I have not finished it. I have enjoyed ACOTAR. I don't think I love ACOTAR as much as other people love ACOTAR. I think that out of her series, Throne of Glass is going to be my favorite, which I've not read yet. But I like ACOTAR. I just don't love it. I don't know why. I mean, the first book I have a lot of very fond memories of because I've read it twice. But yeah, I mean, the second book and third book are amazing. I even enjoyed a Frost of Starlight. Was that right? A Court of Frost and Starlight. I enjoyed that book, but I just haven't finished this book because it's so chunky and I haven't dedicated the time to finish it. So it's on my list to finish the series. Also, I need a drink because I'm starting to get kind of hoarse, as you can hear. Next up, we have, I'll just talk about this, The Lord of the Rings. So, The Fellowship of the Ring. I would love to read the whole Lord of the Rings series, trilogy, and The Hobbit this year. It's actually right behind me, right here. I've already started. I'm not that far. The only time I read this book right now is on my Kindle at night in bed. I'm not listening to it or reading it any other time because I'm in between reading Onyx Storm right now, so I'm trying to focus on that during the day and just read this at night. So, also, look how cute it is. I love the movies. I've just never read the books, and I feel like it's a crime. So, I need to get on board. So, yeah, I'm enjoying my time so far. I mean, definitely we're just getting into the story. I'm excited to get farther into it. I think that's when I'll start to pick up the pace of reading, because it kind of, the prologue took forever to get through, and it was kind of a drag when you're laying in bed at like 11 o'clock at night trying to read. But it still had a lot of interesting stuff in there. It's taking me a while, but we'll see. I'll get done with it at some point. We also have Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabriella Zevins. This, I think, is about two people, like two lifelong friends who develop video games together, like create them. I'm assuming, I'm not really exactly sure what this is about, but I feel like this will be really like right up my alley. I have heard it's pretty heavy though. So going into it, it looks kind of happy. So I feel like I need to go into it and think to myself that it's going to be a heavy book and to just be prepared for that mentally. But I think it'll still be really good. I'm excited to read that. All right, we're down to the last few books, guys. We have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I don't know how to say his name. I don't know why I haven't read this. I've had this on my shelf for so long. I think it's like a magical realism book. Those are some of my favorites to read. I love magical realism. I love it. So I have high expectations for this book, and I would love to read more by him if I enjoy it. I'm excited about that. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I'm actually just going to talk about these two together. This is House of Sky and Breath, the second book in the Crescent Cities trilogy. I assume it's just a trilogy. I read the first one last year and I really enjoyed it. I think that because it took so long to read, because it is a chunky book, I read it on my Kindle, I really felt like I got to know the characters very well in that book. And at the end of it, even though it may not have been like a 5-star read for me, I thoroughly enjoyed my time reading it. So I'm excited to read this one. And then Throne of Glass. I've read this book once, but it's been so long ago. I'm excited to read it again. And I'm trying to read the whole series because I've only read the first book. So I just need to grind out this first one and then continue on with the rest of the series. But I would love to read the whole Throne of Glass series this year. Then we have Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is the first book in a trilogy. I've heard amazing things about this series. I think it's something about if you're from this certain place, if you wear jade, it gives you like abilities of some sort, but they're not crazy abilities, just like kind of slight abilities. I'm very interested. I think it's kind of like a is it urban fantasy? Is that even right? I'm not 100% sure. I'm just excited. I think it's going to be a good time. And then the last one is Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibans. I don't know how to say her name. I read the first book, What the River Knows, and is that what that's called? I'm pretty sure. Really enjoyed that. I love books that have anything to do with like Egypt or archaeology or just like any adventure book like that is so fun to me. So this has been a highly anticipated read for me. It's just a duology and I feel like I just need to finish it. I don't know why I haven't, But those are the books that I have planned to hopefully read for 2025. I am trying to prioritize them every month. So like when a new month comes, I'm like, okay, I need to read a couple books out of my list because I want to finish that's the goal, to read all of these books in 2025. And I think I can do it as long as I just prioritize it. I mean, I've already got one marked off. I'm already started on a second one. I think we can make it happen. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe below if you haven't already. But I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.